From unexpected tech to competitions, not the most friendliest of ones, and unexplained obsessions of sorts. Hello, Magi here, and welcome back to another episode of Interesting Touhou Facts, the series where I talk about facts from Touhou that I find either fun, unusual, or simply interesting. So without further ado, let's begin the Interesting Touhou Facts number 77. Number 5. If you follow Touhou for some time, you know they're pretty low-key in terms of technology. Imagine showing them what a smartphone is. They probably would shit their pants. But we got Sumuriko to do that, so that makes things easier. But once in a while, we see some rather cool shit on the tech side. They're usually based from the Kappas, which is understandable, but this time it won't be from them. In Wild Chapter 35, we learned that people from the village are disappearing, but only to re-emerge after some time. Those who are affected always turn up unharmed, act like nothing had happened, and have no memories of being gone. A very unusual situation in Gensokyo. Reimu, Marissa, and Kazin try to figure this shit out. Fast forward and we see Kazin and Yukari having a talk. It is explained why this event is happening, but I want to skip that part as it's not the main focus of this fact. Reimu comes upon Yukari, but not Kazin as she has left. You might have noticed the large-ass satellite dish of sorts Reimu is carrying. That's definitely something she ain't keeping in the back of her home. And hell, she even knows what gravity waves are. We learned that the device is used to detect gravity waves. The people affected probably vanished from this dimension entirely, and more stuff thus explained thanks to the courtesy of Aaron. I won't lie, I was not expecting to see lunar technology in this manga work. I wonder what other fancy shit Aaron has back at Aente. Number 4. When it comes to Kozuzu, you know the girl reads a lot of books. More like Yomo books, but still, they are books. And sometimes her reading material is certainly something else, like the part of the Berlin Wall and Ebola. Yeah, Kozuzu be reading some good shit. It appears that there may be another moment like mentioned earlier. So in Forbidden Scrollery chapter 10/11, Kokoro is doing a no play at the Hakare Shrine. Nothing bad about that really, except that Kozuzu learns that Kokoro is actually a yokai and fears that Kokoro is up to something nefarious. I'll tell you firsthand, Kokoro was up to nothing, so yeah, a happy end for everyone. What I want to know is Kozuzu's outfit. When she learned of Kokoro, she took up a disguise. Her clothing doesn't seem strange at all, rather normal to be honest. That was until I learned something about her outfit. It turns out it's based on a character called Kosuke Kindaichi. Kosuke is a fictional Japanese detective created by Seishi Yokomizo. I won't lie, after comparing the two, it's really bloody similar. I'm sure this is just another reference by Zune, but still, you never know what Kozuzu might be reading. After the Berlin Wall and Ebola, anything is possible at this point. Number 3. So we're going to return back to Forbidden Scrollery as there's a rather important lore fact regarding it. So in chapter 32, it starts off really innocently with Marissa finding something at a yard sale, which we later learn to be a paper written by the Tengu. Marissa heads up to the village to find an item associated with the letter when we see that Marissa is bumped by Aya. And remember, this happened in the human village. Marissa is wondering what the fuck Aya is doing here and tells Aya she shouldn't be doing that. Marissa thinks that Aya shouldn't be sticking her nose into the human village's business and that it's a rule. Aya tells her that's not the case. We learn that there's competition for the control of the human village. That doesn't sound good. The Kappa, Tanuki, foxes, and rabbits do whatever they can to seize control. Whoever has control, however, it won't affect the daily lives of humans. This battle is simply for the influence among yokai. Randomly spreading information to bring chaos to humanity is something they want to do. As long as the yokais aren't physically messing with the humans, then I guess it's alright. They do, however, don't want a ruler emerging inside the village. If that happened, they believe humans would begin to mercilessly break Gensokyo's rules, and in order to prevent that, the yokais believe that they should take control of the village. I gotta admit, I never really put too much thought into Gensokyo's system, especially the human village, until I read that chapter. It really opened my eyes to how important the relationship between the humans and yokais are, and what they'll do to ensure everything goes smoothly. And if the villager ever did want to break Gensokyo's rules, all hell breaks loose. Number 2. If you played Urban Legend, then you'll know that Sumiriko had entered Gensokyo, which is impressive considering she's a human from the outside world. Very few have done so. Although Urban was the first game with Sumiriko passing through the barrier, it wasn't her first time entering Gensokyo though. I'll admit, I was not ready to learn that. In alternative facts, it's mentioned that she might have entered Gensokyo when she was younger. When she was little, she liked abandoned shrines, altars, and so on. She also hid and played under eaves and porches by herself a lot. She had slept in a place as mentioned and later on woke up in a panic upon hearing some people's voices later. She was surrounded by a ton of policemen and other people all asking if she was okay. Her parents got really upset with her too. Apparently, 3 whole days had passed while she was asleep. There was even an article about it in her town's local newspaper. Aside from wishing I could sleep for 3 days straight, it is cool to know that Sumiriko had entered Gensokyo prior to the urban incident. In the same article, she also mentions of remembering the dream she had when she entered Gensokyo. Looks like Sumiriko is more tied to Gensokyo than I thought. I'm really curious as to how her character is going to develop down the line. Number 1. So in Touhou, it's not common for characters to have beef with one another, but it does happen. We have Moku and Kaguya. There's also Junko and Hekichiya to Chungai. It appears that there's another beef of sorts. Even after reviewing it, I'm still baffled at it. After the events of Immaterial, Patrulli seems to have developed a bit of an obsession with taking down the Oni. Although the feeling isn't mutual, she now has the Scarlet Devil Mansion host Setsuban, which is basically an anti-Oni festival every year, despite how none of the other residents like it. The fried beans burn Remelia, and the fairy maids hate cleaning up afterwards. When you're holding an event that's burning your friend, it's probably best to stop that shit, you know? Suika has taken note of this and in retaliation to the first festival, destroyed the moon as a display of her own power. Actually, only an image of the moon by shattering the heavens to do it. It is unknown if residents of the SDM notice. In Scarlet Weather, Patrulli goes right past Tenshi, the real culprit, quite confused, to attack Suika instead. Patrulli has no books on the Oni, but dialogue shows she knew what Onis were before meeting Suika. Her wariness towards Oni subconsciously existed before that, as it is revealed in Sakya's ending that despite claiming she didn't know about Oni, Patrulli knew an Oni caused the feast, revealing a subconscious knowledge on the matter. Prior to that, every once in a while, Patrulli would order coffee made from good beans instead of usual red tea. Sakya did not know why, but after discovering the subconscious trait, she finally understood Oni are weak to fried beans. Patrulli only consciously realized she was supposed to use fried beans specifically for the coffee in her own ending, but by then, she also realized to be better off used as Damaku. It is unclear if she realized that she subconsciously drank coffee all along as a preventative measure to Oni. It is unknown why Patrulli developed this wariness towards the Oni. Man, I don't know what the fuck this all happened. I want to say it's a phobia, but that's not the case. Either she has some memories regarding Onis and her consciousness is suppressing it, or Patrulli is a little wacky. I'll go with either. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Which facts were your favorite? How would you react if the village had gotten a ruler and decided they wanted to break Gensokyo's rules? Do you think it was cool how Sumiriko visited Gensokyo before the events of Urban? And do any of you guys have any idea what the fuck is going on between Patrulli and Suika, or Onis in general? If you guys enjoyed this episode, please give it a like and subscribe, or else I might be spirited away randomly one day. And that can't turn out well for me. Either way, this is Magi, and thanks again for watching.